This is the Green Living Chat podcast brought to you by EcoAmid Solutions in Ghana. I am your host, David Ewusi Mensah. This is a bonus episode of my conversation with Zoë Lenkiewicz, who is the Senior Technical Advisor and Head of Communications of WasteAid in the United Kingdom. In this bonus episode, we share two of Zoe's top projects for the year 2020, where she had some amazing experience with a group of women in the Gambia and Indonesia. These stories are very interesting and I hope you enjoy this bonus episode. You have been working with a lot of people, and lots of people have been interacting with you with this toolkits and how it works. Well, I don't think it's going to be easy for you, but what are your top two? What are your top two projects, let's say, for last year? That's going to be
Oh my goodness, you really put me on the spot.
Yeah,
there.
That's going to be a difficult one.
Oh boy. Okay, I guess right, okay, I've got them. So my two projects that I'm particularly proud of, where we have basically been implementing the guidance in the toolkit. The first one is in the Gambia, a tiny West African country, and we've not gone for the city, we've gone for a rural coastal community. There we worked with a women's empowerment group called Women's Initiative The Gambia, and the local TARID, which is the Trust Agency for Rural Development. So we partnered with these two local groups, and we built a training centre, and we trained 90 people from this community. So that included illiterate older women, unemployed young people, people with disabilities, all sorts of, that's our crew normally, and trained them so that people could really understand the impacts of plastic pollution in the environment and how that's affecting them, how it's affecting their children, how it's affecting the livestock and the fisheries that they depend upon, how it's impacting on climate change, all this kind of thing, so that they feel empowered and inspired to make a positive impact. Then we went through the training process for making paving tiles from this LDPE plastic, the plastic bags and wrap. Although plastic bags are banned in the Gambia, there's still so much of this plastic around. It's like from the small bags that you get your drinking water in, through to like every naming ceremony, people buy, it's like a cardboard tray of cans of drinks with this plastic wrap over the top, or like 12 plastic bottles all wrapped together with this plastic. So it's that wrap that's just everywhere. So we just melt it down gently, mix it just to liquid, don't burn it. That's, the opposite of what we want to be doing. Just treat it like butter, melt it gently, it turns to liquid. Once it's liquid, great, mix in the sand, it will start cooling down. Get it into a tile mold, it will set, and you're good to go. You don't need to buy any cement, and cement has a really bad carbon footprint, so we're avoiding cement and making a product that's just as strong as the concrete tiles. So we've got a small enterprise there. They're still going strong, getting more and more customers through word of mouth, and we've managed to engage more with national level stakeholders to boost the market for that product, because it's a new product in what is a pretty well-established supply chain, which is in the construction sector, So that's one. The other one that I'm really proud of, that all took place over 2020, so couldn't travel, having to deal with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Partners in Indonesia, on the island of Bali. Okay, so waste management in Indonesia is devolved down to parish council level. Okay, it's called a desa, the parish. So we've worked with two organisations on the island of Bali, one of them in the south, which is a women's empowerment organisation. It's really well established. They recruit at-risk young women from across Indonesia and bring them to a residential centre where they have been training them to work in spas or these high-end hotels that are popular, and there are many of them in the south of the island. Although they didn't have any residents during 2020 because of the COVID restrictions, we've built infrastructure and developed a training curriculum for these women so that when they do come, they will have the opportunity now to be trained to basically get jobs in these high-end hotels as kind of zero waste champions, as their waste managers, making sure that the waste is separated and nice and clean, and then also to do some processing. So I know, doing some, weaving the plastic. So we looked at what Planet 3R are doing in Nigeria. I shared that idea with the team in Indonesia, and they said, maybe we can make surfboard bags using the same technique and sell those to the tourists that come to surf in Bali, who would love the story. It's ocean-bound plastic, it's women's empowerment, it's what's not to love, and they would probably pay a premium for that because of the story behind it.
This is just perfect.
So really, really nice. I'm loving how, this cross-fertilization of ideas across continents. Like I said at the beginning, we have different cultures, but the waste is the same, and we can really use that to our advantage. And then in the north of Bali, just finally, we worked with the parish council, with a team there that partnered with the parish council. We developed some infrastructure all on a shoestring again, where they're sorting waste, and they've managed to reduce the amount of waste that goes to landfill from 90% down to 10%. Yeah, they've done a great job. They found a buyer for their compost. So they're making sure that their compost is not contaminated with plastics, and then they've got a nice product. They're making their compost out of the sun, so it doesn't dry out too much, which is really important for making compost. By the way, top tip. You've got to keep it nice and moist so that bugs in the soil that turn it into compost, they need water. They're like us. They need water. They need air. Then they're happy, and food, of course. They're making really nice compost. They're separating, I think, 9 different kinds of sticks, all their metals, and selling it all back into these existing value chains. So it's just made an extraordinary difference.
Yeah.
Just in 12 months, and really on a very small budget. So I've been so impressed with them. I think they've done a fantastic job.
It sounds so beautiful. I really love the idea. It's really good. We can go back and forth with this, and because it's just so interesting talking to you about something that you're so passionate about, and it's a very huge problem in the world. So we can just go on and on and on, but we really have to get going because you're very busy, and
your listeners will fall asleep if I go on too much.
Well, thank you so much for listening to the Green Living Chat podcast. We hope you have gotten some tidbits from this podcast. Why don't you share your comments and ideas with us on our social media platforms at EcoAmid Solutions or on our website www.ecoamidsolutions.com. We are excited to launch our new segment, Industry 5.0 segment, where we have discussions with players in the industry. We discuss ways where they can reduce their waste and how they can prevent certain items and materials from becoming waste. See you on the next episode, but until then, remember, live great.